Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the X-Men Nemesis Build-A-Figure Wave. Here we have Marrow. I'm not real familiar with Marrow, but apparently, and I don't remember this because I honestly haven't played the game since, it was like in arcades way back when I was a kid. But Marrow was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Now, this is not a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 version of the figure, not a video game version, because the official stance is figures have not been released for Marvel vs. Capcom. I think legally you have to say that figures have not been released for Marvel vs. Capcom. Obviously this is a comic look, but I think what most people have been talking about is using this in a display for Marvel vs. Capcom. You can add it to your Morlocks display and you can have it on your comic shelf, absolutely sure. But I know a lot of folks were happy to be able to have this with a Marvel vs. Capcom display. So in this review, I have a couple of Capcom characters that I will be doing some comparisons with, so we will check that out. So Marrow here looks like she got a bunch of new sculpting and stuff, so that is pretty cool. We're going to get right into it. I got my wave from toysnowman.com. Link in the video description below. That is my referral link, so if you use that link and create a brand new account, so new accounts only, you get a 5% off coupon code in your Frost Rewards. Unfortunately, at this time, Marrow is sold out. Wolverine, the X-treme X-Men Wolverine, was in stock for a few days, but has since sold out. I think the only figures left to be able to pre-order were, I think, Husk, Nightcrawler, perhaps, and Cyclops. You have to check, but link in the video description below. But check out toysnowman.com for all your action figure needs. They've got it all. So, have no worries. So, toysnowman.com. But here we got Marrow. We got the X-Men logo there. Build-A-Figure Nemesis there. We get that artwork of Marrow there. Same artwork on this side there. Same artwork that is on the back. The bio reads, once a member of the Morlocks, a community of outcasted mutants, Marrow has the ability to manipulate bone growth. Here we have the entire wave. We are going completely in order, and at this rate, I'm going 2 videos a day, noon and midnight each day. So I think this one is going up noon on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, if my math internal clock is working right, because Cyclops hasn't gone live yet at the time of this recording. Yeah, so, and then Husk, and then Fabian Cortez, and then we will take a look at the Nemesis Build-A-Figure. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's check out Marrow and get her out of the box. Okay, so there is Marrow out of the package, and you know what? She's definitely going to be a fun figure. She isn't like the most super articulated or anything like that, but it is definitely a fun one. So, in with your Marvel vs. Capcom display, it's going to look great. We got some cool things going on here. So the bone sword, knives, dagger things that she's got, really cool. The bone sticking out of her back, really cool. The bone kneecaps sticking over her knees, and then kind of the rib cage bones in there. So some really cool stuff going on here. So definitely a fun figure. I could see why that, and I think initially Marrow has sold out on several sites, and I could see why. I think the appeal, obviously, for the Marvel vs. Capcom stuff, sure. But you know what? This is just an all-around fun figure for sure. So let's go ahead and see what accessories she comes with. She has 2 grip hands, obviously, out of the package. And then she has 1 additional set of hands. She's got a fist for the left. And then she's got this straight-out, like, chop hand for her right. She also comes with the left arm for the Nemesis Build-A-Figure. And it also comes with an additional hand. And he's only got 3 fingers and a thumb there. So we got the Build-A-Figure parts there for Nemesis. We will stick these off all to the side and take a look at him all together later on after we look at all of the figures. We still got Husk and Fabian Cortez to go after Marrow. So let's go ahead and zoom in and take a closer look at her. Okay, so here we have the closer look up of Marrow, and she looks pretty good. Face sculpt, hair sculpt, got a little bit of hair sticking out there. Paint deco-wise looks pretty good. It looks like a little bit of sloppiness on some red paint there on like kind of the upper cheekbone on mine. I don't think it's supposed to be there. It kind of looks a little splotchy even up here on her forehead. But other than that, looks pretty good. Can't complain there. The gold around her shoulders look pretty good. The gold around her waist looks pretty good. The blue and green look pretty good there. All of the bones get kind of this this shading, like this yellowish beige shading into it, kind of bring out the details of the bone and kind of what we perceive to be bone color. So it looks pretty good. She's got these two dagger pieces here. I want to say that they're both the exact same. No, they're not. They're definitely different. As you can see here, they got different shapes to them. So they are not the same. So that's cool that we get two different ones. Got some cracks like in the bones there. Kind of look at the edge of the handle portion that she uses. As you can see, there's kind of what we think of bone, where the joint would come together there. So these look really good. They are very rubbery though. I mean, super duper rubbery, and they'll just kind of form right back. But not like hard plastic at all. I want to say like too rubbery even. Like it's kind of weird how rubbery these are. It's not, I mean, it's not terrible. I'm assuming it's because when, you know, the mold and the plastic, they just do it with these things because these things are fairly soft in there. They're glued in there, so it's not like you could just remove these or anything like that. I mean, you could probably pop the glue if that's what you wanted to do, but it's going to be the same material here, so it's probably just the mold making process. They wanted to keep it all the same material, and that's likely why these are a little bit softer, because these got to be soft on her back as opposed to like a hard plastic that could probably just like break and snap off. We don't want that to happen. So we got that there. But looking at the back again, really cool design with the bones coming out of her back like that. We get some of the spine sticking out a little bit there, and then you got these additional bone pieces just kind of growing out of her back there. So that's really cool. Here on her torso, I guess this would be part of the rib cage or something, where she just kind of has additional bone growth there, which is cool. And then over the knees, you got those kneecaps there, and it gets that same shading in there to kind of give it that bone color, and that looks really good. But other than that, nothing really else going on with the figure. Definitely a new torso, as you know, they have to sculpt kind of how this is sculpted. So the torso is a separate piece and then glued onto this waist piece. That would have been a great time to do like a ball joint in the waist there, potentially, you know, because the design, it's kind of squared off. Could they have done it to where then you can kind of do a rocker in there? Maybe, maybe not. The torso does rock pretty good, does go back a fair amount. Doesn't come forward very good because, again, Hasbro hasn't figured out forward motion on diaphragm cuts very well. But, you know, pretty good otherwise. So let's go ahead and check out the articulation. Okay, articulation for Marrow. Her head is on a disc hinge. She can look up all of the way there. She can look down all the way there, which is good. You can get some pivot going on in the neck, not a huge amount, but you can get some full rotation in there. Of course, the shoulder you can get to go straight on out like so, which is great. Can do a full rotation, just watch out for those bones growing out of her back. You got the upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed pinless elbow gives you that much bend at the elbow. It is pinless, which is nice. Wrist swivel, and they do hinge. Standard horizontal hinge on the grip hands, the fist, and the karate chop hand, which I can't find. There it is right there. The torso on her allows for some good tilt to her left, good tilt to her right, good movement back, like really good movement back, but coming forward again is going to be severely lacking. And the crazy part is that's probably more than most torsos, female torsos, actually give us, which is kind of crazy to think. I almost wonder if they gave her the super articulated body, you know, I guess the torso, maybe the torso would have had to have been smaller, but I mean, it almost makes sense for an ab crunch to kind of fit in there too, right? It's one of those things, I guess. You get a swivel at that diaphragm there. Legs go out that far apart, which is good. She can kick forward very high, as you can see there. Leg doesn't really go back. You got, I mean, just maybe a tiny bit there. You got upper thigh cut there. Double jointed pinless knee gives you that much bend there at the knee. No calf swivel of any kind. Foot hinges down all the way. You get some hinge up, ankle pivot, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So in terms of what we see with typical female figures, she definitely gets a little bit more movement than most. It's still not great in the diaphragm with the forward movement. The tilt is really good. The backwards motion is really good. It's just getting that forward movement. Hasbro, again, just can't figure out. They can't do it. It seems to be an impossible thing at this point. Okay, so again, officially there are no Marvel vs. Capcom figures released by Hasbro. Officially. we know that there are crossover in terms of the designs between the comics and the video games. I don't really know about the War Machine in terms of the comic crossover, but that's definitely how he looked in the video game in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Since Iron Man couldn't be included, I guess it was a rights thing, so they just changed the color of the sprite that they had for Iron Man to make it War Machine, is my understanding of that situation. But we did get that War Machine figure, not from Marvel vs. Capcom. I want to be clear on that, ladies and gentlemen. That is not a Marvel vs. Capcom War Machine. It just so happens to be a War Machine figure that looks like it was exactly designed in that video game. But here we got the Jada Toys Capcom figures, the Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers Ryu, and then we've got the Mega Man figure. And so we can have a Marvel vs. Capcom display if you so choose. And they all kind of fit well together. So that is really cool that you could do that there. So Marvel vs. Capcom, if that's what you want to do, boom, you are good to go. Okay, so here is the Nemesis Build-A-Figure wave so far. If you're watching this video, and you may have watched my Cyclops review, one thing I didn't mention about Cyclops is this dude's head's severely lopsided. Like, what the hell is going on? I don't know what happened here, but look at that head. I did not notice that when I reviewed this guy. So something going on there. That head ain't no good. It's severely dented in there. Like, it's all bad. Dropped when he was a baby. Something happened. I don't know, but my goodness. So I forgot to mention that in my Cyclops review because I did not notice that. Hopefully it is literally just mine, and this is not something that is happening with all of them, because good God almighty, that is not good. But anyway, back to the wave here. I think it's a solid wave. I'm liking the figures in there. This Cyclops head is kind of dumb and doesn't look good. But you got the Screaming one with the optic blast, which is awesome. The figure itself is cool, so that one gets a pass a little bit. Hopefully they're not all like that. I really like the Wolverine. Gambit is a good figure. I don't care for the design, sure, but the figure itself is pretty good. Maybe lack of boot swivel, does suck. Cyclops so far the only one that's got it in this wave. But Marrow is definitely a fun one. Also, I could see why people were very excited. Maybe I played with her as her in the game at some point in my life. I honestly don't remember. But the design looks cool. The figure itself is pretty good. It's just female figures. They just, on that diaphragm, there isn't a whole lot of movement there. I love the bone swords that she comes with, which is, I think, a really cool accessory. So, very pleased with it. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of Marrow? Is it one that you're picking up? Is she the only one that you're picking up? Which I did see some comments before. People were saying that Marrow is the only one that they're getting. And I can see why. It's definitely a fun one. But you guys give me your thoughts down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of the wave so far. Make sure to check out Toy Snowman for all your action figure needs. And again, there's only certain ones that are available to pre-order still at this time. But check him out, toysnowman.com. Link in the video description below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.